Hello and welcome to Andy's Cornish Creations. In this video I'm going to be using this sawn off piece of apple tree and I'm going to be making an apple from it with a little surprise at the end that I think looks quite cute. So here I'm using a 3/4 inch roughing gouge just to turn the branch to round, and then I've got my 3/8 spindle gouge which I'm using to shape the apple. The diameter of the branch was about 3 inches, but you could use any branch and just scale it down to whatever size you've got. You can make it bigger or smaller. It's not a problem. If you've got a 4-inch branch, just make a larger apple. So I'm creating the shape. It's a little bit bigger at the top than it is at the bottom. And here I'm using a 1-inch negative rake scraper that I've made from an old chisel. And that's just to even it out and take away the peaks and troughs that the spindle gouge tends to leave, well, especially in my hands. So just going around it, making it nice and smooth, and it saves a lot of time when it comes to the sanding. Here I'm using a parting tool to create a tenon. I do actually make this tenon a bit on the small side. It didn't fit my standard chuck, so I had to use a dome chuck, but it wasn't a problem. So now I'm just going to part it off so I can fit it into the chuck so I can work on the end. And there it pops. Okay, got the 3/8 spindle gouge again, and I'm just making a little dimple in the top of the apple. And at this point I'm thinking of using the centre for the stalk, but then I realised that it looks a bit too uniform. So in a second I'll be getting rid of that, and there you go, and just leaving a dimple in the middle so that I can put a hole down the centre and attach a piece of twig for the stalk, which I think will look a lot more realistic. And there again, using the 1-inch negative rake scraper just to tidy it up again. Now a bit of sanding, and that'll get sanded down to 320 grit. Here's the sort of little extra, and I'm creating a hole in the side of the apple using a 19mm force and a bit to make a little hole in the side of the apple. And I like to do any drilling I like to do before I finish sanding. So after drilling that, I will have sanded down then to that 320 grit. There you can see the dome jaws opened up to the full. Now I've got it between centres with my trusty 3/8 spindle gouge again. Like, subscribe and notify. And I'm just creating the dimple in the bottom of the apple now, and it's the same process as on the top. It's a little bit smaller because the bottom of the apple is a bit narrower, and I'll do the same thing with this I'll just take it down and drill a hole in the bottom for a little piece of twig to pop in there. So I just sanded it while I could still sand whilst turning between centres. And here I'm applying some chestnut stain. Forgot the word then. And there are some sort of natural light and dark patches on this piece of wood, so I'm sort of choosing the light patches to add the red stain to, and it keeps it nice and bright. And then where the little dark patches are, I'm going to add this green stain. With hindsight, I'd probably put a bit of yellow in there as well with the green to make it a little bit brighter, because it's a little bit dark, but it still looks okay. And I'm trying to blend the two colours a little bit together, so it's not so I haven't got any lines. So now I'm adding. I'll let that dry for a bit, and then I'm adding some abrasive paste. And it gets a decent shine to this, but not a high shine that I would have liked. This particular wood just didn't seem to want to take a really high shine. I think possibly it was a little bit. There's still a little bit of moisture left in the wood. But anyway, I'm now applying some wood wax, some homemade wood wax, and that's put a bit of a shine on it. And then buff it up, remove any excess wax, and give it a buff. And that's looking a little bit better now. So now I can part off, or not part off, but use a 3/8 spindle gouge. This one's it's got a sharper point on it, and it's great for getting into awkward little spaces. And there, butterfingers dropped it. And now I'm putting a 6mm drill hole through the bottom, and just adding a bit of stain where I couldn't get at it when it was between centres. I got a little bit of twig from the tree, and break off a piece that I think will look nice. Stick a piece in the top, and another little piece in the bottom. Just make sure the one in the bottom doesn't stick out too far, because it's got to sit down on the bottom. I drilled a 19mm hole in the side of the apple, so I'm just turning down this piece of oak down to 19mm, so that it'll fit into the hole on the side of the apple. And I'm making a little cone shape here, because this is going to be a little mouse, a little mouse poking its head out of the hole in the apple. And just using a thin parting tool there, where it's that's the sort of extent of the mouse's head. Getting a little bit closer, and again I'm using the sharpened 3/8 spindle gouge just to create a little nose. Here, sand it down to 320 grit, which is what this one is, and this oak shines up a lot nicer. And use some of my abrasive paste, and already it's got a really nice shine on it. And I don't bother with the wood wax because this it looks it's not going to make any difference. It looks really shiny now. And here I've got some plastic eyes. just a reminder there again. Got some little plastic eyes, and I can't say that I'm a big fan of these things. Certainly if I was selling them on a craft fair or anything, I wouldn't use them, because they'll probably just fall off. But I was running out of time a bit, and they were sort of convenient, and it gives you the idea of what it's going to look like. I would, if I was doing it, if I got more time, I would turn a couple of eyes from some ebony or something like that. Use a thin parting tool to part it off, and here I'm putting 2 holes in because I'm going to put some leather ears in, and I've missed out the footage on the making the ears, but there's some pictures at the end where you can see where how they work, and it's just a couple of bits of leather cut out.
Okay, so there we have it. A little apple made out of apple wood, which I thought would be quite apt, and coloured with some chestnut stain, and a little twig in the top and a twig in the bottom, and then little little mouse. It's obviously eating its way in, and then it's just having a look outside. Hopefully you can see that. The eyes, yeah, the eyes aren't very good, but I didn't have time to make any wooden eyes. But you get the idea. And if I were to do it again, I'd probably make some little tiny wooden eyes and pop those on. But anyway, nice little project, nice and simple, and yeah, hopefully you liked it. Give it that thumbs up, share, and if you haven't subscribed, if you could subscribe, and if you do subscribe, ring the little notification bell, or not ring it, click on it, and it will then let you know when my next video comes up. I've been a bit busy recently, so I haven't managed to put any turning videos up for a bit, but hopefully I'll get a bit more time, and I'll do a bit more turning in the workshop and get some videos out. But anyway, and if you could leave a comment, that'd be great. I read all the comments. I haven't managed to reply to too many recently, but I certainly do read them all, and I do enjoy getting them. So it's been sunny today. We've had a sunny little spell recently, although it's been cold at nights, but it's been dry, and I think next week's pretty dry as well, which makes a really nice change. So hopefully you're having some nice weather where you are too. So from here in Cornwall, my name's Andy Paramore. This is Andy's Cornish Creations, and I'll see you on the next one. I'll put some pictures up at the end. Goodbye.
And here it is with some other apples, and so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and click on the little picture of me at the end there, and if you could subscribe, that'd be great. Thank you.